Now, Saturday was World Diabetes Awareness Day, and we know the disease is a growing issue in South Africa and the 5th most common cause of death in the country. An estimated 3.5 million South Africans are living with diabetes, with a further 50% undiagnosed. Now, that said, if you're living with diabetes or are just looking for a means to eat and live healthier, to either manage your diabetes or health disease better, or reap, of course, the benefits of a healthy lifestyle, we're so excited to welcome Heleen Meyer, and she's the author of Cooking from the Heart 3, a book focused on meals for people with diabetes. We are also joined by a very familiar face from Pharma Dynamics, Mariska van Aswegen. Ladies, so good to see you here. Now, when I saw you this morning, I knew we were going to be talking hartsake, which is very, very, very important. Now, Mariska, my very first question to you is that according to statistics, South Africa in 2013, an estimated 58 people die every day from diabetes, and that is a huge, huge, huge statistic. Now, first of all, what is diabetes, and of course, what are the risks involved with having it?
Leigh-anne, firstly, let's look at insulin. Insulin is a hormone that our bodies produce, and it basically acts as a key to facilitate the movement of glucose from our blood vessels into our cells, where it serves as our main source of energy. In diabetes, when you have a chronic condition like diabetes, your body either cannot produce the insulin anymore, or it cannot use the insulin that you produce effectively anymore. And the risks associated with that is that prolonged high glucose levels in our bloods damage our blood vessels, and it leads to heart disease or kidney disease, and it can also damage your eyes and your nerves.
Yeah. Now, we are talking about Cooking from the Heart 3. I'm very happy because I've been on this journey with you for quite a while, Heleen. When people think about eating healthy, they usually think about boring, they think bland, they think tasteless, and most of all, expensive as well. Now, to write a health recipe book is one thing, but what were some of the challenges that you had coming up with Cooking from the Heart 3?
Yeah, it was quite a challenge. You're absolutely right. I think the most difficult thing is that us South Africans love our starches.
We do.
And that is, in a broad spectrum, the problem for most people that have to manage their diabetes is that the amount of starch that you eat or the amount of carbohydrates that you eat has the effect that the insulin needs to manage. And if you don't have that, you need to reduce that. So we had to find ways to keep the meals nutritious, balanced, but with not so many starches as one would normally have on your plate, but rather substituted for something that's as healthy but not necessarily has the same effect on your insulin levels. And yeah, my food's always tasty, so you know it's not a problem.
Definitely. I was quite surprised that it tastes as good as, you know, the regular stuff that we're used to, but it's healthy and much better for you. Now, Mariska, we know that Pharma Dynamics is the leading supplier of medicines for heart disease, and you guys have partnered with the Heart and Stroke Foundation as well. Why the change of focus in the 3rd edition of this book to include diabetes as well?
As we said earlier, diabetes is very strongly linked to heart disease, and with heart disease and stroke being the leading cause of death and disability among people with type 2 diabetes, we thought it necessary to make diabetes the focus of the 3rd issue of this heart-friendly recipe book. Importantly, though, is just it's a guide to healthy living for the whole family, not just focused on diabetes. And that is the essence of Cooking from the Heart. We provide meals and solutions for the whole family.
Wonderful. That's good. And of course, Heleen's going to be doing that a little bit later on. Now, for someone who already has diabetes, what are some of the lifestyle changes that they can make to make sure that they live longer and stronger as well?
I think something that is very important that I want to cotton onto that Mariska just said is the fact that the person shouldn't feel like the patient.
Yeah.
And that's a strong focus for Cooking from the Heart, is that the whole family can eat like that, not just that person. So don't make your life difficult. Don't try and eat other things.
Yes.
Eat a normal, balanced plate of food and try and avoid the sugars and the starches and the carbohydrates that are problematic in your system because you can't deal with them. Reduce them, and when you do have them, choose those that are high in fiber and not refined. And I think that's sometimes the biggest problem, is that the unrefined starches people think are the boring ones, but there are wonderful things that you can include that fills you up and keeps you full till the next meal, that prevent you from picking all the time, because that's a very big problem for
exactly.
somebody with diabetes.
Well, we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. Mariska, Heleen, thank you so much for chatting to us about this. Now, if you are watching with us, why not join the discussion on our Facebook page and on Twitter using the hashtag Expresso Show, where we want to know if you have diabetes and how you're managing to keep it under control. We'll be back shortly with Heleen, who will be demonstrating how to make a delicious treat from the Cooking from the Heart 3 recipe book. Time to find out what else is coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show with Zoe.